Welcome to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast, featuring in-depth interviews with people in hip-hop culture, based out of New England. Leeds.
All right.
First Zoom interview.
I know.
I can't believe you've never used Zoom.
I used it once for court to fight a ticket.
Let's say, was that for the music video or was that actually court?
No, that was to actually fight a real ticket.
Was that during COVID?
Yeah, it was last year. Yeah.
Oh, so was that,
I think most of them just switched to that now. It's just easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go to the RMV soon and I'm dreading it. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. This whole real ID thing, they keep pushing it back, but eventually you're gonna have to get it.
Yeah, I heard about that. Especially
you don't have one?
I don't have one, but I'd have a global entry card. I don't know if they're gonna accept that at the airports. It's
global entry card?
Yeah. It's
like
so you can skip customs on the way back. Like you don't have to stop if you leave the country. You don't have to stop at those like tellers and fill out all that information. You just like walk straight through. It's worth every penny.
Yeah, sounds like it. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast, Season 4. We are back, new location, as you see behind me. Did some framework. Not as good as yours right now, but I'm gonna try to compete with you. But we got a special guest today, rapper Kaspa. How are you? Good to see you.
Good. How are you, man?
Good. So we are back, and you got the day off today? Is that, or did you just make your own schedule?
I just scooted home early today. I just got back from Florida, so just kind of just touching base.
Forgot to also mention he is a world traveler, golf connoisseur, course connoisseur.
Yeah, golf whore.
Is that what you were doing down there? Golf, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're like I said, I was talking to a couple rappers that actually are big into golf as well, which is a new thing for me because golf and hip hop never really went together for a long time.
Yeah, the past couple of years it's been really like exploding since COVID and stuff.
Yeah, so when I talked to a dude from Michigan, he was saying like Michigan has Michigan? I think it was Michigan has the most golf courses in the country.
That's odd. You wouldn't expect that.
Exactly. He just says that. I don't know if that's true, but he said that, and the whole urban community and everything, they were just like all golfing, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Paulo Brown.
Yeah.
Golfing.
And yeah, there's tons of golf podcasts now too. They're blowing up all over the place.
So it's not just a white thing anymore.
No, man, it's crazy. A bunch of people starting clothing brands and all kinds of stuff. I think Macklemore started his own clothing brand too, and like it's crazy. It's getting out there. I think J.R. Smith does a podcast too.
Yeah. What got you into golf?
Actually, I was the best man at my brother's wedding. He was golfing for years, and we all went out and decided to play golf. There was like 8 of us. And ever since that day, I've just been nonstop playing all the time.
Would you say that you have an obsessive personality?
Once I get into something, I'm all in. Yeah, for sure.
It takes one to know one. That's why I say it. Because like I said, you don't really fit the standard of golf. You're a hip hop guy with tattoos, construction worker, in the trades. Yeah. At
the beginning, and definitely you get stared at going to some places like.
You're like, what's up with the guy with the neck tattoo?
Yeah.
It's like Rodney Dangerfield and Caddyshack. They're like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah. It's a blast though.
Yeah,
frustrating. Like I said, it's a blast.
Mini golf is my thing. It's not my thing, but was my thing. Real golf. Only went once and wasn't very good at it.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a try.
Yeah, maybe you have to show me the ropes if you can stand below amateur.
Yeah.
So Bill Ricker, born and raised.
I'm mostly raised in Wilmington. Yeah. Went to Shawshing Tech. I've moved a lot around Massachusetts.
Really?
Haverhill. Yeah.
Well, I lived in Haverhill. I was
lived in Las Vegas for a short while. Very short.
As a kid?
No. And I tried to move there in 2008. during the economy crash. Went out there, it was like no work whatsoever, like zero. Like the hotels and everything was just stopped.
Right.
Crazy. So
So what would you say primary? So Wilmington primarily is where you grew up?
yep.
Yeah. What's that like? What's it like growing up there?
It's right next to Burica. It's just suburbs, you know. Went to a vocational school. Uh, took plumbing, and I've been doing it ever since I left high
You're
school.
gonna have to get. That's all that happened.
Well, well,
That's all it was.
there isn't much there. Yeah, it's the typical suburban town. You know what I'm saying? We used to just
Yeah.
like party every weekend. Look forward to the weekend and just smoke and drink.
So you got into that early.
Yeah. I got it out of the way early. I don't really do much of that anymore.
Yeah. I remember someone calling Bill Ricka Pill Ricka.
Yeah, this was back. Yeah, I graduated in 2000, so this was this was a ways back, but yeah, definitely would turn into that. Yeah,
It's just there's the jail in Bill Ricka too, right?
yeah, Burica House.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
worked with when I was working one of my first jobs at Wendy's as a kid. I worked with someone that was just got out of Bill Ricka,
Oh,
that jail
really?
over
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
they weren't too
neighbor.
far from. Yeah, they weren't too far from there. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like not too far from where I grew up, but I just never went to Bill Ricka or like is that Tewksbury over there too? Is those
yeah.
over there?
Burica, Tewksbury's,
Yeah,
Burlington here. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The
Never
Burica
really went
House is
over there much.
right off the highway, right off Route
Yeah.
3. Yeah,
So standard suburban lifestyle.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So when you start listening to hip hop, is it in your that
Yeah,
time in your
I
life or
started
later?
listening to hip hop a long time ago. I used to hang out with some kids, and we used to listen to, sneak off, listen to, you know, NWA and all that shit. And I think one
Yeah.
of my first records was Snoop Dogg Doggy Style. I had my aunt come buy it for me because she didn't know any better about the parental advisory stickers and all that stuff. So like, I
Yeah.
think we went to like this small ass independent CD store, and I had her buy it for me. And then as soon as my parents found out, they snagged that shit right up.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents weren't too cool about the parental advisory. They never did anything about it. They always threatened that someday they were gonna do something about it, but
Yeah.
I put up such a fight that they
Yeah,
didn't
you were
have
going
a
to be able to
chance.
listen to it regardless, whether your friends had it or somebody else had it.
I remember being nervous trying to buy those albums at the store young, like with the
Yeah, I
parental
know. Some of
advisory.
them
Like I
wouldn't let
remember
some of
like
them wouldn't let you.
shaking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
I
of them
remember
wouldn't let you.
shaking,
Yeah.
thinking that, oh my God, they're gonna say no. But then
Yeah.
eventually no one ever did anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like going to see a rated R movie. Like no one never carded you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You'd
Or
be
maybe
like,
I was
you'll be
lucky.
fine. You're gonna see it regardless, so just go.
Yeah, yeah,
That was like
yeah.
when I was young, when Kids came out, that movie Kids,
Oh yeah.
I wasn't allowed to see it like at all. So, you'd
Uh,
go to that one friend's house whose parents were never home and just all
yeah,
watch it there.
that movie's fucked.
Yeah, it is. It's
I
probably a good
remember,
idea. Not letting me see it.
and that was our age bracket too. When that
Yeah,
came out, it was like that movie was we weren't from New York City, but like that movie was like our
yeah,
age demographic, give
yeah,
or
and
take. I'm a little older than you, but
yeah,
it was around that. I'm like, damn, dude,
yeah.
like, this is bad, dude. Like,
That was a lot of like suburbia too, because I used to skate
yeah.
back at that time too. I was
Oh,
skating back
dude,
then, and we used to get kicked out of everywhere and harassed everywhere. And
right.
yeah, that movie was nuts.
So like I was listening to like we'll talk about your new album a little bit, Beautiful
Yeah,
Chaos. But I was listening to it and you were talking about as a kid, like you have one song you're talking about you're as a kid in you're like the teachers are all complaining about you, saying you're not applying yourself, you're depressed, well, all that, but you
yeah,
have all this potential and you're acing all this tests. Is that actually happened?
yeah. All my stuff is like very personal, real stuff.
Right,
I don't like
right.
really make up any stories. But yeah, that was pretty much most of my high school. I think my senior year might have been absent more than I was actually even there.
So why that behavior?
Uh, I don't
If you're
know,
that
man.
smart, if you're that smart,
Well,
why?
yeah. My upbringing wasn't great. You know what I mean? Like went through a lot of shit with my parents. They divorced, and my mom was sick for most of my life, and
Yeah,
yeah, I just bounced back and forth between living with my both parents. Like, so my father moved out, and my mother stayed in Wilmington, and I lived there for a little while, and then my mother couldn't deal with me anymore, and So she sent me to my father's house, which was in Lynn, which is completely different. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then the school would find out I was living in Lynn, and they'd tell me I wasn't in the school district anymore, and they were trying to kick me out, and so I'd have to go back to Wilmington, and just all kinds of nonsense of partying and all that shit. Just school just wasn't for me, man. Like,
Yeah. I hear you. Me too. I was
yeah,
similar. I didn't ace all the tests like you, but same thing, really. Very similar. You
yeah,
talk about you say you mentioned in your bio that both your parents had terminal illness.
yeah, yeah.
What, you mind me asking what that was?
No, man, it's all good. My mother actually died of AIDS. She had it for a long time. She got it like not that long after my brother was born, my younger brother.
Yeah.
I didn't know for years and years until basically I got to high school and my father had let me know. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's basically what started like doing a lot of drugs and like
Yeah.
drinking a lot. And I used to always hang out with like usually older kids from the city. So, they were already into that kind of stuff. And, just did that for most of high school and a little after high school until I kind of smartened up a little bit. And then
Yeah.
my father ended up passing away from leukemia.
Damn.
Yeah.
And this is all, how old are you?
Like mm, around 20. So
Really?
my father ended up passing away earlier first. So that was like kind of a curveball because like he was doing like a lot of prep of like, the inevitable with my mother and like her like probably passing away. I mean, this was back then, so it wasn't, there wasn't a lot of drugs out yet to like keep people, alive
Yeah. Yeah.
as long as they are now.
I know.
She was on like a ton of like medication that they would just try and, what I mean, a lot of like a guinea pig, like, yeah, take this, and
Yeah.
we don't know what it's gonna do, but we're
Yeah.
just trying it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then my dad ended up getting leukemia, and within like 3 months he passed away.
Damn, that fast, huh?
Yeah, yeah, they caught it way too late. He even had a brother who had a 100% bone marrow match, and it still didn't take. So
Sorry, man.
yeah, it's all good. And
It's
then
funny.
my mother passed away like 2 years, 2.5 years later.
So you were growing up like your father got sick quick and unfortunately passed quick, but your mother pretty much through high school, you knew when everything had AIDS.
I knew like probably junior year. I think my father ended up telling me. You know what I mean? Like
Damn.
he just didn't think I was old enough to understand what was going on. You know what I mean? And my parents used to fight a lot. So
Yeah.
like he always used to tell me when I was younger, like you don't understand. I can't tell you right now what's going on, but you'll understand someday. And it was just yeah, it was rough, but you know,
Yeah.
you grow stronger.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. You
uh,
learn to grow up pretty quick.
no, you do.
Yeah.
It's you mentioned that HIV is AIDS, well, HIV AIDS, whatever.
Yeah.
The I know there's a difference between the two.
Yeah.
You can live with HIV now.
Yeah, you can live.
I know
Yeah.
people that have HIV and live, and
Yeah.
they take medicine, but
Uh-huh.
they live.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, obviously AIDS was huge as a kid, right? All the schools were teaching
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
It was a death sentence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing growing up that where it was like if you got it, that was it. And now people can live with it.
Right.
If you've been around, if you've survived, but if you've seen come from that era and now see what it is, it's a friggin' miracle.
Yeah, it
You know
is.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
And
completely
it's
different. Yeah.
unfortunate your mother didn't get to that, but so many dropped. It
Yeah.
was
My mother was
unfortunate.
actually like she was on so many like different medications. She was one of the oldest and longest living at that time before when she passed away. Like
Yeah.
one of the longest like that they could keep going.
Yeah, because it sounds like she had it for 20 years.
Yeah, so a little under that. Yeah. Like
So even
17.
that is a long time to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. And my uncle got leukemia.
Yeah.
He survived, but again,
You always got to check in and stuff.
he was about to die recently,
Oh, really?
and they gave him the stem cell,
Oh, no shit.
and the stem cell saved his life. He got pretty mangled in the whole thing, but he's alive,
Yeah.
and he almost died even with the procedure, because it's just like take everything out of your body basically, and
All right. Did they
but
do
it's
that?
like
Did they do that in the States now? You still have to like leave the country to do that.
no, they did it in the States, right in New Hampshire.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
No, they did any of the stem cell stuff in the States.
no, they're doing it.
No shit.
They're doing it. I think it was controversial for a while, but I know another guy that had another form of that
Yeah.
and got stem cell and survived too. And he
That's
was on
crazy.
death. He was
Things have
knocking on
come
death's door too.
things have come a long way.
It's just yeah. I mean, you got to thank God, that has happened,
Yeah,
because there'd be a lot of people not here right now.
for sure. Yeah.
But so anyway, moving on, I can
Yeah.
see how that would have an effect on your school,
Yeah. Yeah.
why you're emotionally, can disrupt you. So you go into trades, you become a plumber. That's what happens.
Yeah. So I went to a vocational school. I originally didn't want to go. Obviously, I wanted to go where all my friends were going from Wilmington and to go to the high school. But my parents knowing that school really wasn't for me, and we need to get you something you can use your hands. You got to get out there, and the business world, being in an office probably isn't the lifestyle that's probably going to work out for you. So
Oh, you
yeah,
weren't wrong.
I ended up going to Shawshing Tech and taking plumbing, and pretty much at the moment I was able to get my license, I went and took for my license. It was like a year and a half after I got out of high school, and I've been
Yeah,
pretty much doing it ever since.
and you've done well.
Yeah, it's not bad. I own my own company. I work for myself, so
Yeah,
it's been about 10
it's.
years.
I grew up around construction. We've had this conversation. My stepfather was a carpenter. My uncle was a mechanic.
Yeah,
He moved up. He moved up to be project manager and supervisor. Cochran and Jennison built high rises,
yeah,
everything. I
yeah,
grew up around. I grew up around that, and he always wanted to teach me the trades. He's always trying to
yeah,
teach me the
yeah,
trades. Like you need to learn this, but I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like my brain didn't work that way.
yeah,
And he was so intense working with, it wasn't very enjoyable. So it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
still the hardest working guy
That's
I've ever
that,
met.
that's probably why I still work by myself. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
like I'll be a pain in the ass on people.
yeah. It's just like I don't know. It's like growing up as a kid. It was like if you were in the trades, you stayed home. It was almost like the teachers were saying that this was a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah,
lot of teachers, like everyone was expected to go to college.
right,
And if you didn't go to college back then, like you were doomed. Like you're stuck working construction, and you're a laborer, and you hit a ceiling, and good luck.
right.
That was kind of like the stigma growing up. Was that kind
Yeah.
of like that
No,
for
it was
you?
it was the same exact thing. So if you like basically Shawshing Tech, you could go there if you were any of the five surrounding towns.
Yeah.
There's five towns that could go there. And basically if you went to any vocational school, you were a burnout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that was it.
Yeah. Right.
Like now it's completely changed. You have to like apply to get into vocational school. You have to like have good grades. Some of them you have to
Right.
pay for now. Like it's
Right.
kind of turning around where people, it's just like anything else, man. You can get into the trades and you can just ride it out and just work for someone or whatever you want to do. But if you want, there's room for opportunity to move up and make good money and not get out
Excellent
of
money.
school with like a shitload of debt,
And that's what I'm learning now, because it's like the trades are in such demand in certain, now. I mean, at least
Yeah.
during COVID, it was really crazy.
Yeah.
And I saw what these guys were making, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, I
Yeah.
really screwed up. I should have done that. But I wouldn't have done Leeds though. But like it was what they make now is good money, and union and all that certain things
Yeah.
they're taken care of.
Yeah.
Question is,
Sure.
do you beat your body up too much? That's the thing.
Yeah, you do, but it's just part of the trade-off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I work for myself, so I have like my freedom is priceless to me. So,
Yeah,
just
me
be
too.
able to just come home even to do this or not have to ask anybody or just like take off to go do something. It's you know, if
Do
there's
you
one
have
thing
so
I
you
learned, you never know how long you got. So fucking,
yeah, I
you
can see
fucking
you have
enjoy
that
yourself a little
mentality.
bit. Yeah.
Do you have nobody working underneath you?
No.
Just you. You do all the work. That's it.
Yeah.
And you do mostly home installs, right? You do like, hook up
Yeah,
bathrooms.
mostly new houses. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of remodels, like kitchen and bathroom models. I really don't do a lot of service work. I
Yeah.
just do do the new stuff.
I know, because I called you. I was like, yo, you can fix this leak. You're like, nah, man, it's not right.
Yeah.
But you did a hell of a
Yeah.
job on my shower, though. That shower is great now.
There we go.
It's yeah. So it's
It's
you're
amazing when
good
things
at.
are actually done right that they'll actually, work.
Well, that's good because so many people don't install things correctly.
Yeah.
Like what happened to me, the shower floor gave out. I had to
Yeah.
call Kaspa to come install it correctly.
Come do some plumbing work up in there.
It was styrofoam. The one the guy put in wasn't a plumber. He was just like a whatever contractor. Puts
Yeah.
was it styrofoam under the floor?
Yeah, it
That
was all
was
soaked and everything. So it was just like mush, like a sponge under there.
oh my god. Yeah, so yeah. Well, shout outs to you on that. And that's good, because the transition into the fact that like you have a good career, you make good money, it allows you to be more productive in your music career. You talk about your freedom. These things are very important in being able to do music at a good rate because so
Yeah.
many people try to do music in like pure starving artist mode and they fall victim to like not being able to do things correctly or get stuck in a bad deal because they got no money.
Right.
Again, you have this freedom to finance your own career, do what you want to do creatively and have that
Yeah.
control. And I always tell people this, like having a good job and doing music is important
Yeah. For sure.
because
Yeah.
you'll be able to accomplish much more in that way than just being all the way in with music.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely fortunate. I mean, when I was younger, I had all the time in the world, but no money to do it. And, so now now I can put some money towards it, but I just got no time, but I'd still try to do what I can.
So what was the album for you that was like, I want to rap? Like this is what I want to do.
Um, I mean, I used to rap like jokingly back in the day with my friends. Like we'd like record over those little recorders and record over tapes, like Paul Abdul tapes or something that was his parents. And we'd like, make a improv NWA type like name or something like that. You know what I mean? And like do stupid stuff. But man, I don't know. I always used to, I always used to love like when Canibus came out, it was like different for me. Like it was like, wow, this guy is like super smart. Like he sounds well read and he's like super technical. And um, yeah, man, I started rapping in high school more seriously. I had an English teacher who like couldn't get me to write. Like every day you'd get there, he'd have you write in a journal. And like I just refused to do any work when I was in school. And he's like, hey, listen, don't you like to rap? He's like, just write the raps in your journal and I'll pass you. So it was like kind of cool that like he found, you know what I mean, like something that would help me out and obviously help me to write at least. So yeah, I have to thank him for that.
The teacher.
Yeah, his name was Mr. Brown. It's my English
Shout
teacher.
out, shout out, Mr. Brown. Dude. So Canibus is and I remember Canibus coming out in like the late 90s.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, no one rhymes like this.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Like, oh my God. Like, because he was the one that was doing the real long verses. It
Yeah,
hadn't been done like that for a while.
Yeah, he just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, like, damn. I think the first time I noticed him was on the Firm album. That verse on the Firm album was just
Right.
like bananas. And,
Yeah, I think the first time I heard him was when he did that song with the Lost Boys.
yeah, that one was around
Remember
the
that
same
one?
time.
Yeah, it was about
Then
the
it was
same
all
time.
the mixtapes. There's the
DMX
versus
Canibus.
Canibus.
Yeah, dude, I still have that original disc.
Yeah, my boy, shout out Peter Parker has that tape too. I have a
Does he?
picture of it. I used to post it all the time. Yeah, that was like the big most anticipated too. But man,
Yeah.
were you like everybody else, like completely like disappointed with the first Cannabis album?
Yeah, definitely for sure. Like just the
It could
beats,
be
just yeah, the just beats just weren't there, and like yeah, it was a bummer. Like lyrically, it was there. Just they just didn't go together at the time. I don't know. I mean, I listen to it
yeah.
now and I appreciate it, but like it definitely was not what I think people wanted or expected.
I remember only liking one song. I think Buckingham Palace was the only one I liked.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I might have to go back, but I think at the time I was like, I don't even like this at all. Any of it really.
Yeah, I
Which is
remember.
weird because
Yeah, it
that
was really weird. It definitely was really weird. I think I didn't like there was the there was the song about like the couple meeting and like getting pregnant and stuff. There was that song, and there was the rock and roll song. I think that was the last song on the album, and it was just like a little corny, but hey, man, whatever. It
I
is.
felt
It is
like
what it is.
Buckingham Palace was the only one where he rapped like you
Yeah,
wanted him to rap.
right. Exactly.
Like he gave you long bars and it was
Yeah,
like, okay.
yeah.
The beat was cool, but it was like, all right, at
It
least
was
this
still
is
wasn't. Yeah, it still
yeah.
wasn't like that
And then
orchestral
DMX
like shit.
yeah, and then DMX comes out with fucking "It's Dark and Hell Is Hot." It's like it's fucking classic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Oh yeah.
bam, like boom. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's such a disappointing time.
Yeah. It was even more disappointing like when he went on that battle thing and he tried to didn't he try to battle
LL?
no, he
The
went
LL
on
diss track was fire. The
yeah, the
LL diss
L
track
diss
was
track was
fire.
fine. No, when he actually tried to get in the battle rap scene and he went who did he try to
Oh,
battle? Um
yeah.
what's that guy? It wasn't Thesaurus, it was somebody else and he ended up pulling out the like the notepad like in the middle
Oh
of the
no.
battle and it was just like oh man, like that hurts. That hurt my soul right there.
Me and you have both worked with Cannabis. We've done songs with Cannabis.
Yeah, yeah, I got to meet him. He was a super nice guy, man. Super nice guy. I
Yeah.
actually sent him the picture of the DMX vs. Canibus CD. I'm like, I still have this. He's like, holy shit, I can't believe you still have that. I was like, yeah, it still plays and everything. Still got it.
So you had the CD. I had the tape.
Oh, you had the tape? No
Yeah,
shit.
it was like a dub tape.
Yeah. Did you used to go to like downtown Crossing back then and pick up all the
I
tape?
I didn't. I didn't because I wasn't living in Boston at the time,
Yeah.
but my boy Peter Parker did. I think that's how he got it. He would get all the mix because he was going to Curry, so he was going to Boston. He was close to Boston, so he was getting all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
The
we used to skate there and then like go over there and grab all the mixtapes and shit like that.
yeah.
It was like Mr. Rags and stuff. I don't remember what it was down there.
So you good at skateboard,
It was all right back then. I don't do it. I haven't done it in a long ass time. You hurt yourself way too easy on a fucking skateboard.
dude?
You roll that ankle
Dude,
like nothing.
just roll it. You can shatter it. I know people that have like
Yeah,
don't are like permanently disabled because of skateboarding.
I believe it, dude. Yeah,
It was weird because skateboarding kind of took off in the '80s when we were kids. Like all of a sudden, I remember as a kid being like, one day, like everybody's skateboards and they're building half pipes. So half pipe, half is that
half
what it is?
pipes.
Half
Yeah,
pipes,
half pipes.
half
Yeah,
pipes everywhere. Like
yeah.
everywhere, it started having half pipes.
My neighbor across the street built one.
Yeah, see, and it was all homemade shit. You're like, oh
Yeah,
man, this looks bad. I
him and
was
his
too
dad out
tall.
there. Yeah,
I was too tall to skateboard, so like my balance, I grew too fast. So my balance, I could never do it.
yeah,
So, but kids were going crazy with that shit.
yeah.
Early Tony Hawk, was it Powell Peralta? Was it
Power
Mike
yeah,
Powell? Was it
yeah.
was it Powell? Was it Mike
Paulo
Powell? Was
Peralta.
that
Yeah, yeah.
Gleam in the Cube was a big movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Gleam in the Cube
I
that
seen
was a
it.
good
I
movie.
seen it.
Of course you did. You saw Rad too. Remember
Oh
Rad?
yeah, really rad with the bike. Yeah.
Oh, Thrasher. How about
Oh yeah,
Thrasher?
Thrasher. Yeah,
That
yeah.
was what's his name was in that. Who played George Bush in the Oliver Stone movie? Josh Brolin. Is that the? It's the dad. Is it Josh Brolin? Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
young Thrasher.
I
Goonies.
don't remember. Yeah. Yeah, we used to go down to Copley Square and get chased around by the cops all the time. It was like they'd have one lookout out there like cops, cops, and everyone would just scatter everywhere and they grab like one of them.
Yeah. Skateboarding. Crazy.
Yeah.
Came back heavy though. Kind of
Yeah.
went away for a while, but then like that Tony Hawk video game came out, and everybody started skateboarding again.
Yeah, dude, I see some clips sometimes now, like even back when I was skating, it was like, how could this get any more inventive? And now you see some of the stuff they do, and you're like, that's crazy. Like, who even came up with that? Like,
Yeah, yeah. What was the best trick you could do?
um, I mean, I was a teenager. I could do like 360 flips, and like we used to do like just before I pretty much stopped, I started doing railings, like being able to do some railings down some stairs. So it was fun, you know.
Yeah.
But I just rolled my ankle so many times. There was one time I was out of commission for like a couple of weeks. It was just like black. My whole fucking ankle was like black. It was just like, yep, can't be laying here for weeks hemmed up, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you roll your ankle once, you're like,
Yeah.
you can do it so easily
Oh,
again.
yeah, yeah. And it hurts
Like
so bad.
I had friends in basketball, like
Yeah.
if someone rolled their ankle, you would normally see it happen more than once.
Oh yeah, you land right on someone's foot, man. It's oof. I don't even like to think about it right now. My
I
ankle
know. It's like, if you start rapping, the first album is was it Found My Way? Is that the
Yeah.
first one?
Yep.
2014.
Yep.
Featuring us, you get some pretty big features off the rip. You had Slain, Apathy, Diabolic, Torre, Mr. Greens.
Yeah. Yeah. That was.
Very, very hardcore underground hip hop features. Sounds like you
Yeah.
were listening to a lot of Jedi Mind Tricks prior to maybe.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So basically, like that album was me getting to the age where like I said, I could actually afford to do like a project like I wanted to do it. And I didn't
Yeah.
even know if I was going to make another album after it. I just was like, I always wanted to make an album. I always had like all this music that I never fucking released because I was never happy with like how it sounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. I just wanted to make an album. So I'm gonna make an album. And then I was like, I'm gonna have fun. So I'm just gonna reach out and hopefully maybe rap with some people that like I'm influenced by and that I like. So yeah, that's pretty much how that album started. Yeah.
The debut.
Yeah. Yeah. Debut 2014.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jedi Mind Tricks because we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And in Massachusetts, Jedi Mind Tricks has a huge influence
Yeah.
in the New England scene.
For sure.
Talk to me about your experience.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think I mentioned it in like opinionated that like you know, everyone compares especially like white rappers to Eminem. It's like I personally think a lot more of them sound like maybe it's just a New England thing, but more of them sound like Vinny Paz, like Jedi Mind influence than anything else, like all the beats and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And
Not wrong.
yeah, I mean that's just my opinion. So, but yeah, I've been to man. I think I first found Jedi at do you remember Biscuit Head Records? They used to let
Of
you come
course.
in and like play the records. So you
Yep.
would literally just go in there and just like look at records and whatever album cover like looked cool or whatever, you would just grab it. I think that's the first time I found Jedi Mind Tricks. I think the Violent by
Yeah.
Design vinyl it just came out and I was like, "Yep, I'm taking this."
Yeah. That was a huge album.
Yeah, that was
And they
huge.
had Boston MCs on there. Like they had like Mr. Liff on there, Virtuoso on there
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah,
And
and they ended up like you know developing the whole crew there. So it's just
yeah,
a
and
bunch of them.
in Boston, and Jedi was coming up doing a lot of shows, like even around that time, like that
Yep,
album time.
yeah,
Were you going to those ones at like Bill's Bar and everything?
yeah. I probably I remember Bill's Bar.
Yeah.
You know, I remember going there sometimes, and you know, there'd just be like ciphers. Like
Yeah.
I remember like actually the first time I ever rapped like in front of people was at like one of those shows, and I think like Insight, that dude Insight
Uh,
was there,
the
and like
man.
I don't know if it was T Ruckus or was that his name? I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
T
yeah.
Ruckus.
And I remember they were like in a cipher, and I was like just like this little kid, like just like trying to get in there, and then like I probably sounded ridiculous, but like, I had no confidence whatsoever. But yeah, I remember those shows, Bill's Bar. I remember Acrobatic having his release party, and Robert Kraft showed up with the jersey, the Acrobatic jersey. I was at that show.
Oh yeah, that's when he was when he was rhyming on 94.5. Was
Yep.
that later?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was right around that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that Jedi Mind Tricks lined with the Boston hip hop scene artists at the time really well.
Yeah.
And it
For
was
sure.
great to see that expand.
Yeah.
And then I saw a Jedi Mind Trick show at the Middle East. First one I went to, I'm thinking it's like 2003. I didn't see those early Bill's Bar shows. I wasn't in the city. I was in northern New Hampshire, central New Hampshire, so it was tough to get down. But I'm thinking Jedi Mind Tricks, Last Emperor, Middle East downstairs. I saw that one,
Yeah.
and I just remember Vinny Paz with like the towel over his
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You guys know who I am? You know
Yeah.
who I am?
Yeah.
I'm coming here.
Yeah, man, those shows were
It was
great.
sold out though. It was freaking
Yeah,
sold
those
out.
they
People
were
going
they were always
crazy,
so
dude.
they were always sold out, dude.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Now they play the Paradise, and now he's like retired apparently. So,
Yeah.
it's
I
but
seen him.
that whole movement, crazy.
Yeah,
Shout out Jedi Mind Tricks, Vinny Paz.
I seen him in Prague at the Hip Hop Camp Festival. It was pretty cool. He was over there with Esoteric. It was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool to see him over there and just see like a whole different like country of people just like infatuated with him, like fucking absolutely killed it over there.
And one of the things that's not talked about enough is Stoops' production.
Yeah.
Like Stoops' production, what he was sampling with a lot of that Spanish stuff and those
Yeah.
beats
Yeah.
is part of the reason.
Huge
I'm
part.
going to say 50% of the reason why that music is as successful as it was. I mean,
Yeah, for
Paz could
sure.
rap, but if like those beats and that early sound was amazing. Like
Yeah.
that was like what I loved about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, yo, these beats
Yeah.
are crazy.
Yeah. Like
You
all
know?
those symphony samples and stuff like that were just like
Oh my
so fucking
god.
cool. Yeah.
Oh my god. One of my favorites is the Cool G Rap the Mickey Ward remix. What's that one called? Animal Rap. In
Oh,
Animal
yeah.
Rap Mickey Ward remix is I still think that's one of my favorite beats.
Yeah.
I hope
Really, yeah.
Stoop did that one. I hope he did. Sounds like he did.
Yeah.
But it was all that type of stuff, like real
Yeah.
dark, eerie, just like
Just that bang of shit.
it was. So yeah, so you were like you were heavily influenced by that, I'm
Oh
guessing.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
And what else were you influenced at that point, you think?
Um,
Canibus, Jedi Mind.
yeah, I mean, like everyone loved pun. You know, I always loved everybody who was in like Army of the Pharaohs, like all those guys, you know what I mean? Because they,
Yep.
like you said, they were up and around here a lot, so we got to
Yep.
see them a lot. And back then, without the internet, you really didn't, get to hear of people having albums. So when you seen them at the show, you would grab the CD while you were there. You know what I mean? And it was harder to find artists, and you always obviously wanted to support people like in your area. So I mean,
Right.
all those guys, I mean, pretty heavily influenced by.
Yeah. So your next CD, you do another one, right? Everything I
Yep.
Am.
Yep.
What year does that come out?
I think that was 2017.
2017. So what
Yeah.
happened between there? Are you like, I'm still good. So you found me way. You was like, okay, this comes out. It's your debut. I'm gonna do this again.
Yeah, basically. So like Found My Way was more of like me trying to do something a little bit different, still trying to, you know, find my own sound, I guess, more like. That album is a little blend of kind of like the first album and the album I just put out. You know what I mean? It's a little more production on it. It's I had actually already when Found My Way came out, I had already had a couple of songs written, so I kind of just like kept the momentum going. But yeah, it takes me a few years to get out albums just because at that time I had like kind of just started my own business, and I'm trying to do that and do this, and I've always looked at it as just like a hobby pretty much because I'm 42, so the time is more than likely past, but I love to do it.
Yeah, time is of the now.
Yeah.
It's we don't have as much time as we used to, but we still do what we like to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it can be a hobby, but that's fine too. And as long as you do it. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, yeah,
average
yeah.
young people, it's like, I don't care if it's a hobby or full time or whatever. If you like
Right.
making music and you're good, keep doing it. Unless you
Yeah,
just don't have it in you.
yeah, yeah,
But
and that can
some people
happen
don't.
too.
Yeah, well, some people just get frustrated and they think they don't have it in them. I
Well,
think
yeah,
it's
but a lot of people, I think a lot of people have, they get married, they have kids, and they just like to
yeah,
juggle that is, it's tough. You know what I mean?
it's
Like,
very hard.
to put money. I'm sure it's tough for people to make a decision to put money towards music instead of like their kids. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean
that's gonna be tough.
that I obviously understand. Like,
Yeah.
it's if you can do it,
Right.
try to do it.
Yeah.
There is a level of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's like Andre 3000 though. Like, you know what I mean? The guy's like 46. He's like considered one of the greatest MCs of all time. Says like, I'm 46. I have nothing. What am I going to say in hip hop?
Yeah.
I have
That
nothing
that
left to
made no
say.
sense to me.
As the du-
Yeah.
I'm not trying to judge anybody, but if you got nothing to say at 46,
Right.
I don't understand that. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
You believe me, buddy, you got some knowledge to share with people. Like
If
you've
you
been
got
through some
time,
things and you've got some stories, so you got plenty to talk about.
I just think he didn't want to do it, or maybe maybe he doesn't have the music left in him, like the rap. But he
Yeah.
still raps. He pops up his features, but like whatever, that's his decision. But I
Yeah.
disagree that at 46 you have nothing to say. I'll just say that. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think you have plenty
I
of wisdom. You
yeah.
have great wisdom that you can pass on, hopefully, even if you
Yeah.
made a bunch of mistakes.
Exactly. We'll all learn more from the mistakes. Let us know the
Right?
mistakes so we don't fucking make them too, you know?
Let me tell you, I tell people all that all the time. They're like, learned a lot more from mistakes. You could learn off my mistakes. You'll go a lot farther.
Exactly.
So also we'll talk about your friendship with Minus.
Yep.
Mr. Minus, he's changed his name apparently 16 times. So,
Yeah.
so it's what is it? Mr. Minus now? Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
Yeah.
So you guys did 2 albums together. Talk about him and how that goes.
Yeah, so I've been friends with him probably since I was like 9 or 10 years old. Um, I had a friend who lived right next door to him that I practically lived at his house for like summers and stuff like that, and we'd go back and forth, hop into each other's house. So
Right.
I've known him for a long time, and we kind of both started rapping at the same time. I had a studio for a while. Actually, my engineer now was my teacher back then in the early 2000s. So I wanted to learn music and learn production and engineering, but I didn't want to like take the academic courses. So I actually went to a place right on Mass Ave across from Berkeley, and went to school there for like engineering and Pro Tools courses. Um, and me and Minus, we wanted to rap, so we'd take each other's studios, and he he was successful pretty quickly. I think he ended up doing a song with Slane way back as well too. He did some songs with like Edo and like all kinds of. He did a lot with Scratchism.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he took off. He took off early, but then like I said, he ended up having a kid, and like had some things to deal with, and people gotta do what they gotta do, and to handle responsibilities.
That's true.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I always tried to get him to start rapping again because he's good, you know what I mean? He's got like
He's very good.
he's got a great voice and a great like tone and style and delivery. And so we were just talking. We were like, dude, let's just like do a project together and just see what happens, or at least make music and see if it's like if it's working, you know what I mean? So we were working on some songs, and um yeah, like it was tough to get him to the studio because he's got so many responsibilities. He's got multiple kids. He works in the union, and yeah, we just started cranking out some songs, and we were like, these are coming out. These are coming out good. And since we both kind of do it like part time, we decided to like we were going to do one album, and then we were like, all right, this is going to take too long, so we decided to split them up into those two little like EPs instead, to like,
Yep.
you know, stay motivated to keep doing it. And that, and I was actually working on this album that I just released at the same time, like tentatively, like with songs. But yeah, yeah, he's still releasing some stuff too, so kind of hopefully got him back on track to writing. I'm always talking to him. I talk to him all the time. He's like, oh, I'm writing all this and I'm writing all that, so got him back into writing. So that's really all we wanted.
Yeah, and I think he's working on some stuff with DC the Midi Alien right
Yeah,
now.
he is. Yeah, yeah,
Because DC hit me up and he was like, "Yo, I got this whole thing with Midas." So I was like, "Oh, that's good. DC's
yeah,
dope."
yeah, yeah. He's working on stuff.
Right. So, um, this is my first time working with you. We start, you always came to the shows and everything, and always catch you at a cool. You always see Kaspa at a cool mega show.
Yeah,
Whatever mega is,
every single time.
Mega might be in Salisbury Beach, Middle East. Who
Yeah,
knows? You'll see Casper there.
yeah,
But I started to meet you, and we started working together on the Detour album. As far
yeah,
as I can help you with marketing, we started talking about all this stuff. And
yeah.
I saw your first video that you did, Through the Fire, right? Is that did I get that correct? Through the Fire.
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah,
I saw.
yeah,
And I was amazed by the production of the video. And I
yeah.
was like, "Oh wow, it's really high quality." And then we started talking, and dude, your music videos that you start making are incredibly high quality.
Yeah.
Talk to me about we've talked about this, but let's talk about like what
Yeah.
goes into these videos, because they're super fucking high quality and dope.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I had met somebody through a mutual friend, my friend Marcus Sebastiano. I think he did the Slain and Archetype album artwork on it.
Yep.
Um, I was at one of his like I think it was a gallery opening, or he was doing something at his gallery, and someone came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I think we met before." And I was, I'm always a little standoffish, and I'm like, I don't think so. And he's like, "No, I think we met before." Blah blah. I started shooting the shit with this kid, and his name was Sean, and he gave me his card. And I was like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll check the stuff out." And I ended up going home, checking on his website. I was like, "Oh shit, this guy's like legit. Like he does legit quality, like movie-esque type videos." So I was like, all right, cool. Like I said, like now I have a little bit of like money to spend. And I was like, if I'm gonna do a music video, I want it to be like dope. Like I don't want to like have it like, on a camera or something, like a photography camera or anything like that. I want it to be like movie-esque type shit. And yeah, man, we started working together. We actually ended up doing the first video, Everything I Am, at my friend Marcus's art spot, the first one. And yeah, man, since then we just been cranking them out. It's just really just me and him. We'll get some people, some of my friends, to like give us a hand holding lights and shit. But yeah, it's quite a fucking process. Like I write like all the videos, I write all the shooting schedules, and like go pick up all the props and find the locations, and set up at all the locations. Yeah, it's a blast though. I have like a super fun time doing it. I would love to do it like for other people or anything like that. It would just be so fucking cool.
You what kind of camera is he using?
Oh, dude, I don't know the name of it. I know it's a Sony camera. It's an older version of the camera. It's like it's a big motherfucker. It's big and it's heavy. Um, I'd have to ask him what it is. I have no idea.
Let's get an estimate on how much that thing costs.
I think he told me like when it came out, when it was like when a lot of people were using it, it was like a $50,000 camera.
$50,000.
Yeah, but like I said, I know it's like I know it's an older version of their camera, but like he like they always make like upgrades and stuff you can upgrade it and stuff with, but like yeah, it's legit. Like
Yeah,
we have to hike.
it's definitely legit.
Yeah, we trudge that thing up the trails for that It Ain't Nothing video on the radio tower. That's like a 3 mile hike. We had to like bring all the fucking equipment up the trail to shoot that video.
It's dedication.
Yeah, that's a day hike. Yeah.
Did you say you were in the film business a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of my family is. I worked on the
Oh, that's right.
481. Yeah,
Oh,
for some of the movies. Like I worked on The Fighter. I worked on the Ted movies as a set dresser. And a
nice.
lot of my family still works on the movies. Like the video I just put out, my aunt did all that makeup to turn me to an old man,
Yeah.
and did all the hair and all that, the wig, the beard, all the wrinkles. When I'm young, they covered all my tattoos, like all my whole arms. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
because that's the other thing. You have a connect in the business. So
yeah,
you get all
yeah.
the good stuff.
Yeah. Get some people to help me out for for free.
This,
So it
yeah,
always
this isn't your average point. I'm going to rap in front of a graffiti wall video here. We're
no,
talking about this
definitely
is
not.
serious production with serious workers on this.
Yeah, yeah, they take a while. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I want to talk about the opinionated video because I think it's hilarious how you pulled it off in the Lowell courtroom.
Yeah,
talk about making that one because that's a good story.
yeah. So I nagged them for a long time, and it was right when they were kind of transitioning to the where the new court is, because they built all that new court there. And I would just like show up, and I'm like, "Can I talk to somebody?" Like, because you got to keep going up and up, because everyone tells you like, "Oh, that's above my pay grade. I can't allow you to like just walk in there and start shooting." And yeah, man, I annoyed the hell out of them for like probably a month. And then I had a customer, I was working in his house, and he was a lawyer. And I had mentioned it to him, and he's like, "Oh, well, I know somebody, who would be able to make that decision in Boston, because it's a state-owned building." And I was like, "Cool." And like literally within a week, they sent over some paperwork just with like a waiver and to make sure we had insurance. And they were like, "Go ahead. When like what days do you need?" And they were like, "Go ahead and shoot in there."
So
So yeah,
wasn't you
that
saying
was
like since it was a state municipal building that they can't say no to you or something? Wasn't there some
well,
like
they didn't charge me.
they can't charge you?
I don't think they can charge you to do it. I basically had like babysitters there that like let us in and out and like watched what we were doing a little bit,
Yeah.
but like they didn't charge me to use the space, and we were there for a little longer than we were supposed to be there for. We were there for like 2 10+ hour days shooting that video. Um,
Wow.
and then of course I might have ruined it for everyone, but like we're packing up to leave. We're already past how long we're supposed to be there. We're about to leave, and Sean, the guy filming, goes, "Hey, there's this cool jail cell, like holding cell in the back here. Do you want to shoot like some cutaway footage or whatever while we're here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." So we had a hazer going for 2 days. We had a hazer going in there. All it is water mist for two
Yeah.
days, no problems. Dude, we moved the hazer like 15 feet, fucking
No
set the
fire
fucking
alarms.
alarm off. Fire department shows up, friggin' police department shows up, asking us for permits for the hazer. Oh my god, it was a nightmare. The guy who like the main maintenance guy like drove all the way down from home and had to come down. He's like, "What's going on?" And it's like, yeah, that was a bad idea. That was a shit show.
Whoops.
Yeah, whoops. I'm like calling my friends who are firefighters, like, "Hey, do you know any of the firefighters over Lowell? Because I'm sure this is a huge ass fine for them to fucking show up here." I'm like,
Did you get hit with a fine?
no, they didn't find me. Thank God. I'm sure they could have fucking crucified me. Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Yeah. I would talk about the Memory Lane video.
yeah,
You shot that one. The song you talk about having not being able to remember things, like repressed memories almost.
yeah, yeah. Pretty much.
Is that how it is with you for real? You don't like
Yeah, I
remember
think.
but don't remember?
Yeah, like I can like a lot of those memories. I think when I was at that age, like young in and when I was a teenager, like probably used a lot of drugs and drinking to like not worry about like things that were going on. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it was just kind of like always in like a haze. You know what I'm saying? Just like going through the motions type thing. And after everything happened, I probably like kind of like just didn't want to remember. You know what I'm saying? So I can like be in a conversation with one of my friends who I grew up with since I was a kid, and he'll like be like, "Hey, remember this? Remember this?" And I just don't remember. Like, remember that vacation our families took together? And I just couldn't remember a lot of stuff. It was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember a lot. I remember I have memories, but my short term is definitely not the greatest.
yeah, yeah,
Smoked a lot of weed myself.
yeah. That doesn't help.
Yeah,
Yeah, people will tell me
but
their names. It goes in one ear and out right out the other almost
yeah, that you
immediately.
really have to make effort. Thing
Yeah,
is, if you remember someone's name, it's such a good move, though. Like business wise, to remember
yeah,
people's names. I always tell
yeah,
people try to remember.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have trouble with memory too. But that video, another great video you made.
Thank you.
Where did you shoot that? What houses was that in?
So I knew the style of house I wanted, like with all
Right.
that like woodwork in it and that like
Yeah, yeah.
really like Medford, Arlington like house. Really all I did for that is I just found the listings like online that were for sale because I needed it to be empty because we were going to bring in our own stuff.
Yeah.
And I just started calling real estate agents. I must have called like 100 real estate agents. Like, hey, I'm a local artist. Like, I'm just looking to try to get in a house and shoot a music video. Do you think the sellers would be like okay with that? Like, can you talk to them? Here's my phone number. Here's my contact. And yeah, finally somebody just said yes, which is pretty crazy because you know as well as I do, all those houses around the city are like $1 million. So just to let like a stranger in to shoot a music video was I
Uh,
was really gambling on that.
don't set off the fire alarm.
Yeah, yeah. So
Your your
somebody,
your your dedication to the process of directing music videos is pretty impressive. Like that
yeah.
type of
Thank you.
follow through that you're pulling off. I mean, I go back to obsession. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, man, you're that's what it takes, all right. Like to
Yeah,
get what you
yeah. I mean, I wanted like I was dead set on like the look of that, just the look of that house. Like that's what
yeah.
I want. Like I like. It's funny because like when I start having all these ideas, I'll shoot like that kid Sean, my video guy. I'll shoot him like an email, a long ass email, like these are the shots I want. Like these are reference videos. Like these are some houses I'm looking at. Like what do you think? Like what's feasible and what's not? Like get me back to what we can pull off, and then I'll work
Yeah.
with that. Like
Yeah. Are you able to compromise your vision?
yeah, I mean you have to. I mean some stuff is just, you know, we just I just can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I mean, it is what it is. But you can do a lot with just like small things. You know what I mean? Like you learn to like work with what you have, and you like you can keep the shots tight, so you don't have to dress like a whole area. Like you only have to dress like immediately around the person. Um, and like if you're at a house, like I was when I was at the courtroom, there was just tons of shit everywhere, like furniture and statues. We just started like grabbing stuff and just like pulling it in there, and just like we all those books in the background. Like we found a bunch of books in the basement. There was like a
Yeah.
shopping cart there. We were just loading the shopping cart with the books and just throwing the books in there and the flags so like yeah, I mean you can just use what when I go in there to look at them. At first I'm like taking mental notes, like all right, we can use that lamp, all right, we can use that couch. Like I don't have to go get a lamp, like we're good on the lamp. Like
It's great, man.
yeah,
It's great. You are very resourceful.
yeah,
Yeah, let's go back to the school thing. It's like, people think you're like, they look at you like you can't, if you're not book smart or you can't pay attention, that like there's something wrong with you, right? But
all right,
like, and maybe there was kind of, but there was obviously shit going on with you, but you're not dumb, right?
yeah,
Like you have a
right,
skill,
yeah,
like you're pulling these videos off that normal book smart person maybe wouldn't be able to pull off. It's a
yeah,
different talent, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah, it's just
it's like,
different.
but it's funny how everything seems like everything your behavior and everything you do in elementary school or high school is going to define your
Like
life,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Don't get
definitely
me
not.
wrong, people make bad choices, but sometimes school ain't for everybody,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know.
people are finding that out now. I think with like colleges and stuff, a lot of people are, the trades were dipping for the past few years, and then like I guess I think it's like kind of turning back around now. Like people are really
Yeah.
starting to get into them and realizing that, you know, everyone would love to work for themselves, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, if you want to get into the business world, that's kind of tough to do. You kind of need like other people, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if you get into the trades, you can kind of just you can get
Yeah.
away with just being one person.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk about the album, Beautiful Chaos.
Yep.
Impressive, man. Really impressive production, man. You made
Thank
the
you.
album this seemingly theme. I'll let you discuss it more, but I'll just warm it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of like songs that they transition into each other, and it's this whole story involved. I'll let you describe it more. I
Yeah.
haven't seen this done since I haven't heard this done. I'm sure it has, but I haven't heard it done since like Chris Cornell and Timberland's album. They
Hmm.
did that where they had each song transition into everything.
Yeah.
But the production on this album is amazing. You really threw me off with this, you know what I mean? Because I was like, I went in there like, okay, and then I was like, wow, like the production on this album is just like another level, like over, like just crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The
Yeah.
transitions and the beat changes and everything, and your storytelling. Right on, brother.
Thank you.
Right on, brother. A for effort on that one because I know
Thank
you
you.
put a lot of time in it. Talk to me about the
Yeah.
process with the
Yeah.
album.
So once again, I'm pretty fortunate to work with like other talented people who are also like perfectionists. Like my video guys like that, and my engineer and producer, he's like that too. So he's older, and he grew up like in USSR Russia,
Oh
and
wow.
he grew up there, and like he's he's like the most talented, like musical knowledgeable person that I've ever met. Like he knows like the science behind music, like the theory behind music, why things need to be the way they are, and all that stuff. And um, he used to do like stuff for like the Russian Symphony Orchestra, and like he's worked with Apple and like Microsoft on the voice recognition stuff. So like he's very like I couldn't learn what he knows in 5 lifetimes.
What's
And
his name?
Victor Cray.
Yep. Okay. Shout out
Um,
Victor Cray.
Yeah. Yeah. So I come to him with these crazy ass ideas. I didn't actually really have that idea until like probably almost halfway through the album, like to make the all the songs like go together. I kind of just like was like, hey, I've been thinking about this. What do you think of like trying to, you know, make it so all the songs just transition into one, into the next, into the next, and he was like, let's do it. And it was actually easier said than done, because once you do that, that's like, all right, now I need to know the exact songs that are going on this album. Like I need to
Right.
know now, because we can't
Right.
even start this process without knowing that. And I also need to pick the order right now, which I usually don't do till like the album's done. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we need to know the order, and like why it needs to go in that order.
Yep.
And then also with the digital release, since like really nobody really, like I'm just an independent small artist, I didn't want to just release that one song where it's all together and people like, what the hell is this? It's like a 50-minute song, and kind of just
Right.
like not give it a chance. So I was like, I kind of have to put it individually tracked out. So then we had to go back on all the other songs and make alternative beginnings and alternative endings for each of the individual tracked out songs. And then, you know what I mean? So it was a ton of work, but it was super worth it. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad I met him. Like I said, he was my teacher like way back in the day, and we stayed in touch this whole time. And I've never met anybody that could have like pulled that off with like the way the key signatures change and the tempos change, and they just like goes right into the next one. It was pretty. I was amazed just watching him do it.
Yeah. That detail, is so overlooked in hip hop. People, that added touch,
Right,
it's like so often now we're just like, all right, get a beat, rap over it. Some
right.
people just don't even do any post production at all. They just leave the beat, don't even do drops on the beat, and
Right. And a lot of it's like some of those sessions of mine like are like over 100 tracks.
wow.
Like with all
Holy
the
jeez.
send, yeah, with all the sends and like all that type of shit and all that.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because basically what you're doing is you're leasing these beats from somebody else, and then you guys are going taking those beats and like reconstructing the whole friggin' beat, right? Like that's what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So I don't have the time or the money to make beats like that. You know what I mean? They're not.
Right.
I mean, I like the you know the looping and the sample and stuff, but I really like that like orchestral like cinematic style, and it just takes so long. So I'll just lease like a beat, and then a lot of people just lease it, rap over it how it is, keep it
Right.
the same hook song hook like verse hook verse hook verse, and we just take them and just like yeah, we just reconstruct like the whole song. We'll use it as a good base, like a good starting base, and like keep like the main like theme in the song, because when I write to them, that's what I write to, like the certain tempo or the certain drum pattern that's on it. And then yeah, we'll like almost redo half the song.
And does the producer come back to you and be like, "What the heck did you do with my beat?"
No, actually, a lot of them have been pretty cool and been like just like you. They've been like, dude, who's your producer, dude? Like, this is crazy. And nobody ever sends me something back where it like sounds extremely way different. Like, we'll add like a whole intro to the whole entire beat, and
Yeah.
they won't even know it's their beat until like 30 seconds in, and they're like, oh shit, like who's doing all this stuff to the beat. So usually they're pretty cool. I usually ask first of all, like, hey, if I get this, like I'm gonna
Restructure it.
yeah, I'm gonna redo a lot of stuff on here. Is that cool? Because some people don't like you messing with their stuff. It's their art, you ask them. But yeah, most people are cool with, doing whatever.
Yeah. And like also what you did with more of the singing on it and like the talking and all the way you tied it all together story wise, that was really dope too.
Yeah, yeah. He's a vocal coach too, so he like that was a process trying to like
Yeah, yeah.
trying to
Getting your
learn
tone right.
yeah,
Yeah,
get it right. And like I didn't want to use like he would use some of like the auto tune where he'd like lift me up in like a few notes in key, but like I was like dead set of like not using any like of that shitty sounding auto tune. You know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I have to do it like myself. Like I don't want to cheat this fucking thing.
yeah. Was it we got T-Pain over there? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah.
What are we
We got you.
doing
We
over
got you.
there?
We got you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, great work, brother. What do
Thank you.
we
I
got coming
appreciate it.
up? We got the vinyl dropping this week, right?
Yeah. So I had to, I collect the vinyl. So
Yeah.
there was no way I wasn't gonna press this onto vinyl, especially since it works in the format that I wanted it to work in, where like the vinyl allows you to have like the no gaps. So like you can listen to it, you know what I mean, with no gaps in between the songs, and just listen to the whole first half and then flip it over and listen to the whole second half.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So you are a vinyl collector because I see, and behind you,
I
you
got a
have a bunch
couple.
of vinyl on the wall. Talk to me about some of your signed vinyl you have there, some of your key pieces.
Shit. I have over 100 signed vinyls.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. I got like a whole Wu-Tang section. Mostly underground vinyl. But I got some mainstream people. I some of them that I never thought I was gonna get was like Nas. He did that show. Oh, what's it? The Bank of Pavilion, the one that's outside.
Yep.
Like the one that's
Back of
outside
America
in Boston.
Pavilion. Yep.
Yeah, so I went to that show. It was him, Lauren Hill, and then that's the one that DMX showed up at because he was in like Nashua at the rehab or whatever.
Yep.
And my brother, my brother was working that show, so I ended up shooting in there and getting backstage, and like that was one of the times I was definitely like starstruck, like because I went there not expecting to even be able to like get it signed, and like I walked up and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And the people he's standing in line, they're like, "Don't ask him for an autograph. We're gonna take the picture. You have to go online to get the picture. Like, don't ask him for a phone picture." Like they're telling me, and I'm just like, if they don't take my vinyl, I'm asking them when I get up there. It's like, so as
Yeah.
soon as I walk up, I'm like, hey, can you sign this? He's like, yeah, for sure. And like, I could look up, I see the people like, you son of a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even care about the picture, like taking the picture. I just wanted the vinyl sign. I remember I left there so quick. I left my friggin' like my hoodie with my brother. Like I was just like so pumped, like, oh shit, I can't believe I got this. I was like, took a picture, I was like sending to my friend. I was like, never thought I'd get this one. I was like, my brother texted me, he's like, hey, you left your jacket here. I was like, yeah, I was just so pumped. I just was fucking out of there.
Or you worry about those guys taking that vinyl from you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we told you no. Now we're taking it. But
You
yeah.
don't like taking no for an answer, do you? This whole thing, I've heard nothing but like you defying the no.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like,
it's
I'm in business for myself. I wasn't good at school. I forced by these videos to get done. I sent 100 emails. It's like defiance is key.
My father pretty much taught me that when I was growing up. Like the worst thing somebody can say is no. Like you have to ask. Like if you don't ask, you don't know. You know what I mean? Right. And like he used to take me to a lot of shows when I was young. Like he took me to see like Ziggy Marley and stuff when I was young, and like he used to try to get me backstage, like and like he's like just act like you've been there, act like you belong there, just like walk, and like if someone says something, just yep, I work here. You know what I mean? He ended up getting me on Ziggy Marley's bus. He was back in the back. It was Fishbowl playing PlayStation, and it was just cool. I was just like a little like 12-year-old kid. Like
yeah.
So yeah, that's what
I carried that over. In sales, they used to always tell us take 5 no's. I think you take like 50 no's. I think that you're like 5 no's times 10.
Yeah. Hey man, we get it done.
You
get it done,
though, dude. Yeah. You do get it done, man. We salute to you because everything you've talked about, I don't even think I could get that type of stuff done. But you're
just a little persistence, you know.
Little, little. I think a lot.
Yeah.
So what else we got in the works? What else we got coming up? Anything good?
Yeah. So I actually I did a part 2 to that Beautiful Chaos video I just released. So on the album, that was kind of like my last idea once we were like decided we were going to put all the songs together. And like when I originally did Beautiful Chaos, the first song, that was like the start of my album. Like I had songs that I was doing, but I didn't know what I was going to do with them. And then when we did Beautiful Chaos, it was like, all right, this is the album. This is like the title track. This is like the concept. Like this is everything. I have like a direction now. And then we ended up having to go back and redo all the old songs because they just like weren't in the same level as the Beautiful Chaos song. And then once we decided to put them all together, I was like, I went to my producer and I was like, what do you think of me doing a second version of that Beautiful Chaos song? And he's like, are you sure you want to do that? I was like, okay, let's try. So that's why that song is at the end of like, it's not at the end of the individual tracked out digital release. It's only at the end of like that full version. So like the whole album kind of comes full circle. So like the first Beautiful Chaos song is like the beginning of the journey, and I kind of like rap like as a we and us perspective. And then the second one I didn't change many words, but I did it more of in like I and me perspective, like the journey that I just went on. So I actually shot a second half. It'll pick up where Beautiful Chaos leaves off basically. And this video, I wanted to do something like a short movie. So this second video that I'm going to release is like 10 minutes long. So it's like an intro that's kind of like a movie, and then there's a music video, and then there's a second like an ending part that's like a little outro type thing. So right. The videos will be made. I'll eventually do them so you can watch them back to back, and it'll be like a 15-minute music video / micro movie type thing.
Extensive, brother. Extensive.
Yeah.
You put there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of feelings in this music. Do you think that everything you've been through, and you've been through a lot, do you think that you're more healed being in this creative process, getting this stuff out of you? Because you're touching on some tough subjects. Do you think that has helped you grow in these scenarios?
Yeah, for sure. Issues? Yeah, for definitely. If like it's basically the only way I've ever let it out. Like people who know me know I don't like talk
right
to a lot of people. I don't, a lot of people don't even know a lot of the stuff. A lot of people that I've known for a long time, they might not even known about any of the stuff until they heard my music. Like, so right. I don't really like let it out a lot, but music obviously allows me to do that. So that's why, I just love to do it,
That's the
and
power of it.
yeah, exactly. And that's why like the music videos have to match, you know what I mean, that tone.
Because it's so personal.
Yeah, it's so personal. Yeah.
Right. It's the power of it, brother.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Word. So we're gonna wrap up, man. Great
All
to
right.
talk to you, man.
Yeah.
This good to see you. We got more work coming, and yeah.
Yeah. I
Anything
appreciate
else you
it,
want to
dude.
mention? Anything else?
No, man. I think I'm definitely gonna release. I think instrumental version of that of the
Yeah,
Beautiful
definitely.
Chaos album. It's just gonna be the full version of that 50-minute version, and it's
Yeah.
so I think that would be cool to like put out like a different genre when I release it and see if people who don't even like hip hop whatsoever, it's just not
Right.
their thing, will listen to it and think it's kind of like cool, like it's kind of like more like a soundtrack type thing.
Yeah, it's like a movie score.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That'll be the category I put it under when I
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
listen. It's like,
You will too. You
yeah,
will. All right, brother. Well, I thank everybody for tuning in to the Leeds Edutainment Podcast. Very special guest, Kaspa. Thank you, brother. Check out
yeah.
other
Thank you, man. I
episodes.
appreciate it.
Talk soon, buddy.